Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and this is another episode of News from the Newsroom with special guest and Patriot partner, Pete the Patriot. Yay! We need a hand clap.
Oh,
See, I don't
yeah.
have my sound machine hooked up yet. Give me a hand clap.
Turn it
Hand
up
clap.
me.
Okay. Got it.
Excellent. Hello, Pete. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. You ready for some news?
I am absolutely ready.
A few things have happened in the overnight hours, and some of them are kind of amusing, some of them not so amusing. But we're going to go over some of that and hopefully give you some of the inside scoop because we are all about news and opinion.
That's right.
I just wanted to mention this, though, because, I got to. I realized after some long, hard thought that underneath our clothes, we are absolutely naked. And I realized that's because we are always in the nude for news. So, yeah, I wanted to get that, make sure that was perfectly clear.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Old Broad, welcome. Grateful, Grammy, Wayne Rogers, Margot, C, Blue Lou, 12B. Hope you're going to get pleasantly offended by my show today. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't. See, I got Jeff up in here somewhere. I saw him earlier. He probably came in and then ran away.
Yeah.
But sure, he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Everybody comes in and leaves. Conservative Patriot, how you doing? I think without any further ado or don't, we need to kick this thing off because we got a few things to go over. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. I wanted to start this thing out because of the, I think we need to talk about dementia. I mean, what's his name? Old Biden. That's it. Never mind. I couldn't remember his name to save my life. But that the other vice president.
Yes.
Right now, let's see. Where did it go? We got Biden gas just dripping all over the place. Right now, this man is, I think he's in advanced stages of dementia. Some people are saying Alzheimer's, but I really believe it's dementia. There are a couple of differences. Dementia is a rapid deterioration of the brain gray matter. I guess the fluid in the brain decreases. The brain gets dry spots, and you get emotional changes. And a lot of times, dementia will create aggression because the person feels like they're being confronted every time they say something. If they can't remember it, then they feel like you're being combative, and that's what I see with him. Dirty Rotten Imbecile, how you doing? Anyway, so it says Biden busted for incredible whopper during MSNBC interview, claims he voted for Iraq war to prevent war from happening. Joe Biden may have just solidified the nomination for the Democrat Party on Tuesday night with more primary wins. That isn't going to stop questions about whether he's fit for the office, from the confusion and the multiple gaffes to the confrontations with voters, even threatening them, as he did to an auto worker yesterday, threatening to slap him because he asked him a question about his position on guns. But just as important, if not more, is Biden's history of significant and demonstrable lies. He told another whopper on MSNBC interview with Lawrence D. O'Donnell. He basically said during the interview two unbelievable things: that he voted for the Iraq war to not go to war, and that he didn't believe that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, nor do any of us. But I'm surprised he remembered that. So what do you think about this Biden thing as a true contender for leadership of the entire?
Well, like I said before, if he's never going to survive a debate with Donald Trump, He's the first time that Donald Trump opens his mouth, Joe Biden's going to get so angry he's going to tell him to go F off, or he's going to do something stupid like that, and it's going to be the gaffe that was heard around the world. It just all to me, it all seems like it's rigged. It all seems like it's rigged.
Love for him. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's what I'm seeing from my own eyes. I'm seeing that they're going to push him into the nomination, and then they're going to say, well, this isn't going to work. This man he can't do it. Because old Mike's been running around in some battleground states, and the batshit crazy witch has been flapping her yap and putting on her makeup and, lipstick on the pig kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's been getting out there yapping what they would call an unbeatable ticket, with old Mike heading up the race with batshit crazy coming in a close second as a vice president. So then all of a sudden they would have at least a half female total ticket, and they feel like that would bring the world together because everybody loves old Mike. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to move Biden out of the way, and they're just going to insert the people that they want to put in there so that they can have their dream ticket.
Yeah,
Done playing around. How you doing?
Welcome to democracy. Right? This is what all these people, they bitch and complain about. Donald Trump is destroying our democracy when you're watching them destroy democracy right in front of your face, and people are just like, I think it's probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yes. Rules be damned. It doesn't matter. We're Democrats. We're going to do it our way.
Yes.
Well, that actually hurts saying that because I'm so far from being a Democrat.
So far.
Anyway, so continuing on the Joe Biden subject, analysis. Joe Biden has lost the one key argument he thought was a sure win against Trump. The fact that he can't remember who Trump is. No, wait, that's not in there. But no. The argument you hear the most from Joe Biden when he's on the campaign trail is on how he will bring things back to normal in Washington, D.C. if elected president. President Trump, Biden says, is so many words, is uncouth, speaks out of truth, and lacks the even temperament needed to effectively work with people of all political stripes and govern America. And if you don't agree with him, he'll slap you in the mouth. Wait, that might not have been in there either. I'm sorry.
It may have been. Who knows?
As was confirmed, yeah, they could have just erased that part. But as was confirmed Tuesday in the viral video of disturbing confrontation between Biden and Michigan auto worker President Obama's former vice president, see, they can't even remember his name, has a temperament issue of his own. And it's so bad that it effectively negates the arguments he's made in this front against Trump. So he's an angry man that cannot have somebody confront him or disagree. Drop it like it's Scott. Hey, how you doing?
Drop it.
Mark B. So, yep.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Actually didn't fire some rounds off. Drop it like it's Scott. I'm ashamed.
That was for Drop It Like It's Scott.
Whoop, that is. Okay, now back to business.
So I'm just curious.
Yeah, brokered convention, Big Mike and Hillary Rotten as his or her running mate. Yeah, Luciano, that's what we're thinking. All right, so yes, continue, please.
I'm just curious, what are they going to do if he lashes out like he does to an auto worker in Michigan, telling him to, he doesn't know his ass from his elbow or whatever he said to him. I forgot. What's going to happen the first time Donald Trump mentions Hunter Biden in a debate? I'm curious.
I think he'll blow his mind.
Yeah.
Huey Cobra, appreciate you joining me over here on D Live, and thanks for the share. Welcome, good to see you. Over here on Facebook, not showing. I don't know where the hell to look on Facebook to see if I've actually got people watching, but my hand and make sure that people know that I'm aware that they're hanging out with us. But anyway, so yeah, I think we're in a bad way right now with Biden, and I just wonder what is up the sleeve. I mean, whatever it is, you can bet it's crooked.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think if the DNC was any smart, that they would put the first Biden-Trump debate on pay-per-view, because there's not a human being on the planet that would not pay $59.95 to watch that. And that's about the only way they're going to make any money.
I might not pay that, but I might be willing to go watch it at somebody else's house that paid that, though. You know, that's just the kind of person I am.
Well, you come over to my house, because I'm going to be paying that $59.95 to watch Trump eviscerate Joe Biden.
Get the popcorn and the chips and the sodas, and
that's
ready to go.
That's right. It'll be just like this.
Yeah, Biden does have a Oh,
that's right.
Yeah, I've watched the highlight reel on YouTube.
Yep.
All right, so what you got, Pete? Because I think that's enough about the Biden disgrace. I think we're ready for another potential news story. What you got hiding over there?
All right, so here I got not a really funny, but I mean, it's kind of a sad story coming out of Riverside, California. A false alarm momentarily causes panic at a Riverside mall. The alarm was prompted by false activation at the Galleria's warning system, police said on Twitter. A large contingent of officers were dispatched after reports that a customer had been advised through an automated warning system to evacuate or shelter in place at the Galleria. The alarm, what happened was somebody prompted a false alarm for a mass shooting in a massive Galleria, which the Riverside Mall is pretty big, and the entire police department showed up.
Yeah, I've been there.
The entire police department showed up for a false alarm on an automated system. Now, the reason why I pulled
Scarecrow, thank you for the ice cream. Appreciate you, brother.
The reason why I pulled that story is it kind of fits in with the mainstream media narrative like we're seeing now. Instead of verifying and doing the right thing and making sure when you're calling the authorities for the right reasons, let's just cause mass panic and hysteria like the mainstream media is doing right now. They're actually putting...
Yeah, well, it seems to be the name of the game.
Yeah, they're actually putting automated systems in place to cause mass hysteria. And I thought this story right here just fit in perfect with how we're dealing with the sniffles thing that's going on. Because anytime you turn on the news now, it's nothing but about the sniffles. And mass hysteria seems to be the soup du jour. Because if you're not causing mass hysteria somewhere, you're not making headline news. That's just what it seems like.
Bad news is always good news. That's how their system works. The headline you can use, the more of a chance you have of getting clicks and watches. That's just because people want misery.
Yeah, well, a mall full of people getting the crap scared out of them because they think that there's a mass shooting going on, and then the SWAT team and the whole entire police department showing up because they just have to do it. This shouldn't be the normal, is what I'm trying to say. This shouldn't be the way the normal world works, to where you have to cause mass hysteria,
right,
either in a shopping mall or on the mainstream media news, to report what's going on. It shouldn't have to be like that.
right.
So that's the one story I got so far.
What's really worrisome is how easy that can be abused. Say something is happening here to distract all law enforcement in the area to do something elsewhere. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was done playing around. It just said that. And as soon as you mentioned the whole police force went there, I was thinking, wonder what happened on the other side of town.
Exactly. And apparently this was an automated system. So the system just decided to throw an announcement out there that told people who were inside the facility to shelter in place. And then the automated system notified the authorities that there was an active shooter. When there was
what
nothing.
The hell is wrong with all these automated systems?
It just doesn't happen by itself. It just doesn't happen by itself. It was a strange story. Oh, that's good. It was a strange story that kind of just fit in with the mass panic.
Yeah. Mark B just said, this phone in my hand right now with a live feed shows how Revelations is true and how the two witnesses will be killed and left in the street 3 days for the world to see. Yeah, well, I think that if you just look at how evil man has become lately, how just sick they are with all the pedophilia and all the, they're trying to get that into the mainstream so everybody accepts it, and then just the pure hatred and anger of the people, it just can't be too much longer now.
But you know what's sad is I can't really put my finger on when this whole thing started going sideways. When did these things become mainstream?
I think, well, I have to say I don't know for sure, but it sure seems like a lot of it was brought to light during the last administration or regime. But it's amazing. It's part of the 16-year plan. They were running out of time because Agenda 21 is coming right around the corner, and everything's supposed to be in place before it starts, before 2021. That way they have 9 years for their 2030 agenda, and that's always been the plan. So it really, they got into hyperspace, I guess. Had to hurry everything up during that Obama administration, and then that gave them the start of their 16-year plan to finish it off real quick. But they would have had to speed it up a lot more than that.
And what better way to usher it in? What better way to usher it in than to have somebody like Joe Biden running the country?
Right.
Yep.
I agree. Let's see. Sticking with a little bit of politics, I just wanted to go over a couple of things here. Georgia is community theaters, as they are questioning. Let me open it because I can't see enough of it. Some of these, they want you to subscribe to them before you can even read an article. But sticking with the theme of our news concept here, is news from coast to coast and everything between. So this is Georgia County stirs controversy by holding pseudo Senate election. A lone county in northwest Georgia is trying to play kingmaker in the contentious Senate race between Kelly Loeffler and GOP rep Doug Collins, to the annoyance of some Republicans. Yeah, these people, Collins and Gates and all of them, they're a big threat to the cabal. So they're going to try to swindle them out of their seats. Floyd County, about an hour north of Atlanta, is taking the unusual step of asking GOP primary voters during the May 19th election to pick their favorite candidate for the U.S. Senate in an effort to gauge the support of Loeffler and Collins. They're doing this little trick in several places, partly in California with this. They go to vote and they say, well, we need to know who you're voting for so we know which ballot to give you. That's an illegal census of a voting tally. You're not supposed to ask people that when they go to vote. Right. So I don't know how they get around some of the stuff. The result is not official, but more of a poll conducted by ballot. The county GOP officials make the case that whoever can win in the Red Floyd County will have the momentum and a better case to emerge as a winning GOP candidate in the November election. So anyway, I don't need to read more of it. It's just I wanted to bring up the concept because they're doing this illegal census, and it makes me wonder if they're trying to set the stage for some shenanigans in the upcoming 2020 election. What is your thought on that, Pete?
Well, I'm here in California, and they pretty much unregistered me to vote. They unregistered me from from my party and sent me ballots that didn't have any of the people I wanted to vote for. Yeah, there's a little bit of shenanigans going on.
Hello, Freebird. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like waiting for the game to start. You wonder what's going to be done, how they're going to cheat this time, what tricks have they figured out, because some of them have already been exposed. So you just gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
But
yep.
Anyway, you got another coastal story you want to talk about? Because then I'm gonna bring up one real quick about our illustrious Supreme Court. Ugh.
Anyway, I saw that.
Go ahead if you got something you want to.
Well, here's it just has a story that has to do with kind of the sniffles and one of our favorite Congress people in the whole world, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
You're right, Marco.
Right?
Oh,
no.
Wow.
Come on. AOC is mocked for saying the sniffles is exposing straight up racism among Americans who are avoiding Chinese restaurants.
Wow.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claimed Thursday that Americans are not eating at Chinese restaurants due to the sniffles, which of course is racist.
Of course.
Of course. Honestly, it sounds almost so silly to say, but there are a lot of restaurants that are feeling the pain of racism, where people are literally not participating or patronizing Chinese restaurants. They're not patronizing Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism around the sniffles. Meanwhile, Democrats have pounced on the sniffles fears as yet another opportunity to push their narrative that the Republican Party in the age of President Donald Trump is racist.
That
the Democrat media and personalities have condemned references to the sniffles. Huh?
Well, all of a sudden I started jamming over here. Something fired off on one of the pages I had open. I mean, I was about to start headbanging and everything. It was freaky.
Yeah, so if you don't eat at a Chinese restaurant, you're a racist. You are a racist. So everybody go out today and go patronize your favorite.
Aren't we a racist for everything?
Oh, good Lord in heaven, help us. Good Lord in heaven, help us.
Yeah. Hello, Gary. Good to see you. All right. Well, I had that story open about our illustrious judge, but the stupid thing started freaking out. So I guess I'm not going to talk about the judge. But anyway, our Supreme Court needs a little bit of a reset. There's some really weird things going on about that. But here's something from my state, since we're talking about individuals here. Feds say Florida has community spread of the sniffles. Florida disagrees. Governor DeSantis says Florida is not experiencing community spread of the sniffles, but the White House gave a different answer. Um, Tallahassee, Dr. Anthony Fucci, a leading infectious disease expert on the federal sniffles task force, plainly stated on Tuesday that Florida is one of 4 states with community spread of the sniffles and therefore elevated risk. What we're saying today is that although we keep coming in and saying appropriately that as a nation the risk is relatively low, there are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that, Fauci said. And the place: Washington State, California, New York, and Florida. So again, we're talking about the sniffles, but we're not getting everything. We're getting bits and pieces. What the hell are we supposed to do?
That's how they want to keep us like mushrooms, man. You know that.
Yeah, squishy and in the dark.
That's it.
Well, on the same subject, New York Governor Cuomo deploys National Guard to New Rochelle, establishes containment center to stem the sniffles. People can call this a whole lot of different things, but the one thing they can't call it is fake, because when you start deploying the National Guard to lock down communities, the question becomes, what will they do to lock down said community? Why are they locking down the community? And would we call this martial or medical law?
Yeah.
Martial law or medical martial law? That's a good question, right?
That is a good question. Well, when you see tanks rolling down the street, is that martial law or is that medical martial law? What is that?
Well, it's a good question. Right now, to my knowledge, we don't have that yet. But what they do have is a 1 mile perimeter around this community that they have interruption in progress systems set in place. So they speak in tongues, and you have to be pretty careful how to decipher. But everything that I see looks like they're either practicing or they're getting ready to go hot. And with even the situation I just read about DeSantis and then the CDC in disagreement on the condition in Florida. In Florida, we actually have a law that says that they don't have to tell us anything at all. So they've already been doing a little bit of that, which I'm grateful for. But what the hell is going on? Harmony Tigger, how you doing? I Bleed Americans here too. Welcome. I don't know. What do you think, Pete? Give me something good. Tell me something. Tell me what I should do.
Well, my next story that I wanted to read.
Right, Freebird.
It's not a West Coast story, but it kind of almost fits into what you're talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read this story and then we can talk about it both together and see how it coincides here. Newark officials threaten criminal prosecution against anyone posting misinformation about sniffles on social media. The Department of Public Safety in Newark, New Jersey warned residents that they would be prosecuted if they spread disinformation about sniffles on social media. Any false reporting of the sniffles in our city will result in criminal prosecution. We are putting forth every investigative effort to identify anyone making false allegations on social media to ensure that any posted misinformation is immediately addressed. And the department will rely on laws in New Jersey that ban speech causing false public alarm. Individuals who make false or baseless reports about the sniffles in Newark can set off a domino effect that can result in injury to residents, visitors, and affect schools, houses of worship, businesses, and entire neighborhoods. So, say if you heard a story, right? You heard a story about the sniffles, and you put it on your Facebook, and it turns out that that story is false, they can prosecute you and put you in jail. Now, how is that not taking away your freedom?
They've been taking away our freedoms for a long time. Anybody that doesn't see that by now they've had some solid glasses on with no visibility.
Right.
But here's my big question: who decides if it's false or if it's real? Because what I've studied on the sniffles, I've gotten straight from the level 4 CDC information. I mean, I've got a page pulled up right now that goes into very good detail about said sniffles. And so the question, who decides what's false and why should we that's my dog.
Yeah.
What should we do to prevent them from coming after us just for posting the truth?
But is that going to be part of their medical
Snoops, right.
Are they going to say that
this martial law opens up? Penny, I am trying to talk over here. Yeah, I mean, when they declare a martial law, the Patriot Act kicks in. All kinds of things that are totally illegal on a normal basis all of a sudden become well within their boundaries. So, this is all pretty freaky as far as what the hell are they trying to pull. I've been saying for a year, I guess, since I've been on here, that because of the way things are going for the cabal, they have to have an event. The event needs to be massive, and it needs to be very destructive in order for them to get their cabal back in alignment and to eliminate the Trump wave. So I've been saying the event's coming. I've been saying I don't know what it's going to be, but this sure looks like it could be it, because look at all this stuff. They're just plowing right through with it. Even with Trump in office, they're just doing everything else in the background without even worrying about him.
Yeah, pretty much. And this story that I just read here, that was in New Jersey. When is it going to come to California? When is it going to come to, all like Seattle and Portland? That if you say something false, we're just going to declare martial law over this pandemic and just stifle all your rights. How close are we to that? That's the question.
Yeah, it feels like we're getting pretty close.
It feels like
kiss my big red, white, and blue ass. that about covers it, Freebird. Yep. Some things are just said so perfectly.
Yep. And
all right, so what else you got on here?
I found your story about the Supreme Court ruling for the president. Is that the one you were looking for?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Supreme Court rules.
Well, I think the story I had up. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. The Supreme Court rules that Trump can enforce the Remain in Mexico policy for migrants seeking asylum. The Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration can continue to enforce.
Now is permanent.
Yeah, they can continue to enforce the policy which makes migrants who apply for asylum in the U.S. remain in Mexico until their hearings. The Hill reports that the policy, officially known as the Migrant Protection Protocol, has kept more than 60,000 asylum seekers out of the U.S. while their asylum claims were processed. Last month, the ultra-liberal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals rules the policy was in violation of federal law. It just so happens that the Ninth Circuit Court wanted to repeal this policy just as the sniffles was getting prevalent. Open the borders. Let the migrants
They want the
in.
borders, yeah, wide open.
And then 2 weeks after,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
2
here's
weeks.
the thing.
Yeah, 2 weeks after that, they had a breakout of the sniffles in Tijuana.
Right, convenient, right?
How convenient.
I've seen several videos online where people are taking this thing. They're apparently confirmed to have it, and they're going into places like elevators. And the guy, one video I saw, he licks his hand and he starts wiping all the buttons in the elevator.
Yes.
So it makes, the thing already looked like it was weaponized. It looked like this was purposeful, and then you see those kind of things. Hello, Karma Ghost. But
Hey, Karma.
it makes me wonder if it's a weapon. They already have a cure for it. That's that's the way it works when bioweapons are made. So are they paying these people here? You go out and do this for me, and then you come on back here and see me, and I'll get you hemmed up with the vaccine, and you can carry on after that. It just everything, like one lawyer apparently is responsible for many cases throughout the United States. One lawyer.
Yeah.
So that looks to me like he was paid some money to go do some traveling and get to meet some new and interesting people. But everything about this looks like the event.
You know what? I can't even argue with you. I can't even argue with you. I can't even give you a good rebuttal, because the coincidences are too close, too often, and too coincidental.
Yeah. Well, I use a jingle that's fairly familiar to some people. Timing is everything. And the conservatives and the timing, but the cabal has their timing as well. So anyway, so let's get off of the depressing news. I got some truly just great news I wanted to share with everybody.
Oh, good.
Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in prison on sexual assault charges. Yes, folks, that deserves a round of applause. Absolute. I just want to tip a glass of wine to you and have a quick celebration, and just enjoy this moment, because one piece of crap elite son of a bitch is finally getting his after all the damage he's done to the young kids that are trying to make a go of something in Hollywood. And I'm also waiting for his little madam to be scooped up too, and I hope you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Who's madam?
Well, him too, yeah. Oh, Weinstein's madam.
Oh, no, who?
His procurer of children and young adults.
Oh, Ofra.
You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Everybody gets a damn car.
It's Ofra.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep. I wonder if things are closing in on her a little bit.
Well, you know what? I don't think that anybody expected little, let me get my walker and go into the courtroom and look all disheveled Harvey Weinstein to get 23 years in prison for, diddling an actress. He'll get 6 months on the 2 counts, and then you know what? He'll do a month in the hospital, and then they'll let him go because his health is bad. I think that this judge has sent a message to the rest of Hollywood saying that we know who you are. We know what you did and what you're doing, and your time is coming now. This has nothing to do with the Me Too movement.
Well, also, nope. This is criminality. This is predatory. This is a group of people that are young adults and young children, and it's catching up with them finally. This has been a sick part of our history in our country, and I would put it right there with slavery. And I think some people would disagree, but opinions are meant to be differed. But I think that the abuse done to our children in this country, in the millions of children that it's happened to, and the young adults that are, they're raped because of their innocence and their vulnerability and all this other garbage. I just think it's going to be one of the nastiest periods that our history will look back on, and to eradicate it like we did to slavery needs to be a priority. Hey, Goose.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Breaking news: Italy hospitals now turning sick people away from being overwhelmed. Karma Ghost, thank you for that. That's another bad deal over there. They've lost the country. You know what's going to keep them from locking down this entire country?
Guns.
The fact that we're not going to tolerate it, and we have the capability to back them off. They're going to try it. I think it'll go poorly. I mean, people have to use common sense. If you are ill, stay the hell away from other people. It doesn't take brain surgery or anything to create smarts to that level. If you have something going on, stay the hell away from people. If you are healthy, happy, and not having problems, there is no reason to be locked down. And what they're doing is they're setting the stage to lock people down that do have problems, but then also locking down people that don't have problems in the same proximity as the ones that do have problems. So what they're going to do is they're going to create a spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Duke. Common sense is too far out the window right now.
I just looked something up real quick. I just wanted to look something up real
quick. How you doing?
I just typed into the search bar sniffles virus in Brussels. You know what's in Brussels, right?
Oh, I think there's something to do with some gold and some fiat currency and some certain bankers and cabal, but stop me if I go too far.
What is the proximity between Italy and Belgium? About this much?
Yeah, right. I mean, on the map, I think it's more like this, but it's, yeah.
So Italy is on complete lockdown. They have thousands of people dying. They're shutting down the hospitals. Belgium has 2 confirmed cases of the
Imagine that.
Imagine that. But one over, people are falling like flies. Isn't that amazing how where the head of the European Union sits up on his throne, there's nothing there.
Right. Yeah. And wow, that dog is nuts. Let's say that you had the walls closing in on you, and you are one of the cabal leaders of this world, and you felt like you needed to move something yellowish in color and quite heavy. And the only way to do that is to lock down a society so that you can move said yellow stuff carefully and quietly without being detected. Would you maybe consider locking down a neighboring country so that you can move said yellow gooey stuff when it's liquid molten and all that?
That would be a very feasible idea. Because nobody's paying attention to you right now. Nobody's paying attention to anything except what the mainstream media is telling people to pay attention to. Go buy toilet paper.
Wow, you're a real thing, buddy.
Go buy Top Ramen and self-quarantine yourself. They can move anything that they want.
Right.
What you're watching right now is you're watching the rich, the super billionaire wealthy Soros folk moving their money around in the stocks. That's what you're watching right now.
Yeah, and they're talking about bailing out the stock market. So if they can say, okay, we can put money into the stock market to recover it from this, then what's to say that the entire stock market itself isn't the illusion that I've been saying it is for years of my life?
It is an illusion.
They can manipulate. Yeah, I mean, it's just a card game.
Look, this is an illusion. You know how this is an illusion? On this little device right here, I can punch in a bunch of numbers and buy stock without even knowing it. Just by putting a number in here. And if the stock market drops below a certain price, or that stock drops below a certain price, it automatically buys shares for me. This is all a game, man. This is a fabrication. It's an illusion. I didn't even make
everything around us is an illusion.
Yeah, I didn't even make a decision, and I bought a whole crap ton of stock yesterday in something I didn't even know I wanted. It's all an illusion.
Did you find out later you might have wanted it?
Well, it's Ford, so you can always use that.
Yeah. Disabled Vets Perspective, who declared the sniffles a pandemic? Yes, we caught that this morning. So they did declare it an official pandemic. That took a long time. And
the World Health Organization.
Well, I guess they were trying to They were trying to make sure their continuity of government was in place and that their military was in place, and everybody down to the dog walkers and the poop scoopers were in place before they mentioned that, because they want everybody secure from the general public. Ever seen the opening ceremony around the CERN Collider? They had like a total satanic parade for that thing. Okay, CERN Collider. Never mind. My other reading eye might have kicked in. Yeah, that thing is. They're trying to do some strange stuff, messing with energies that they shouldn't be doing.
Well, they're messing with our frequency. That's the problem.
That's right, Wake. Right. Yeah, it's frequency healing, not for healing anymore. All right. So what else you got in the headlines over there, Pete? Because I got a couple more here that's pertaining to sports, and the only sport that I give a damn about. So want to let you hit up another one, and we'll close it out with what I got.
I have one positive story here from California. California voters overwhelmingly rejected a $15 billion school upgrade bond. And I know that sounds bad when I say it like that. That the California voters refused to support a school bond, but the California voters saw right through this bond that we voted for yesterday. The bond was to remove Proposition 13, which keeps the property taxes low for older Americans. So what California did was they disguised a bill to take away the property tax proposition so they can jack up the property taxes, and they disguised it as another bill to help the schools. And Californians saw right through it and they voted it down. They voted it down because what happens is if that would have passed, the property taxes would have went up exponentially. People's rents would have went up exponentially, and it would have forced the rest of whatever tiny little middle class that's left here to flee. But luckily,
right. Or it would
people
have created more homeless neighborhoods.
Yes, people in California saw right through it and voted it down. So that is a positive story coming out of California, which makes me very happy.
No kidding.
Because on the back of my drone phone, because everybody knows my drone phone, I have my I voted sticker.
Be careful with that thing.
Yes, but I put my I voted sticker on the back of my drone phone. So I'll just set this back down over here.
Yeah, be careful. Don't boy.
All right.
Last time you screwed with that thing, something fired over my house. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, well, that was just a warning shot, brother. So let's just get that out of the way right now. Good. All right. So that was my story.
All right, I'm going to go ahead. This is something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm not a major sports fan, but every 2 years I call in dead to any other events so that I don't accidentally have an appointment or anything like that because of the Olympics. The Olympics are my sport. I used to be, a long time ago, before the broken back and the disabilities, I used to be a epic runner. I could run a marathon before I even started to breathe hard. I used to run a 440 in the 40. I was lightning fast and I had endurance. So running and track and field and all that is right up my elementary canal. And unfortunately, that leads me to the story here. Special Olympics out of South Carolina cancels an event due to the sniffles. Very sad. Let me, I got to zoom that puppy in though, because my eyes ain't good no mo. Due to the recent presumptive positive cases of the sniffles in South Carolina Special Olympics, South Carolina is canceling 3 statewide events. State basketball, March 14th, the annual State House Rally for the Special Olympics, March 31st, and the state cheer competition, April 25th. In addition to canceling these state events, as of March 10th, they are suspending all local competitions and practices until March 31st. Officials said Special Olympics programs worldwide are very strongly advised to suspend all sports, training, and competition activities and other activities involving the athletes through March 31st, at which time the situation will be reevaluated. We do not make these decisions lightly. Canceling events has a huge impact on more than 30,000 children and adults in our program, as well as thousands of coaches, volunteers, unified partners, and family members. Lacey Lowry, Director of Communications, said, "Local area programs have already begun their practices for their sports, and we're looking forward to having these competitions. Our first priority is the safety of not only our athletes, but our coaches, volunteers, family members, and the family in general." So, relatively sad news here. We are letting the sniffles now interfere with my favorite sports, and I'm mad as hell and not gonna take it anymore.
Well, I think it's more sad that it's the Special Olympics, because these people, they don't, they look forward to this. This is, even the regular Olympics they look forward to, but even more on this scale, and they don't understand why this is happening. It's just sad.
Right.
It's just sad.
Yeah.
And I understand.
Well, related story. Well, yeah, I mean, I understand it too. It doesn't make it feel any better.
No,
but it just means that they're getting away with the sniffles.
Yeah, and
doing. Sweden is now on lockdown. Sweden. Oh, okay. So it's moving quickly. They're getting all these countries locked down. What the hell is coming? There's something more than the sniffles. I'm promising you, folks. You might have heard it here first, but you need to keep your eyes open. They're staging for the event.
There's gonna. It sounds like it. It sounds like it because this is not normal.
UN countries, UN nations. Yeah, interesting.
This didn't happen with Ebola.
Medic. Now I'm resting. Yeah, right. Hey, pup. My dog has gone psycho because she's not getting attention right this moment. But anyway, so yeah, what were you saying?
I'm saying this didn't happen with Ebola. This didn't happen with SARS. This didn't happen with MERS. This didn't happen with the sniffles 1 through 18. Okay, because this sniffles thing, there was 18 strains of it before this one. And if you're going to tell me that this one wasn't bioengineered to do what it's doing right now, then I don't know what to tell you, because all evidence points to the contrary. All evidence points to the contrary. So I think, oh, wow, we lost Alex. I think the dog unplugged him. Oh, there he is. He's coming back. He's coming back. DPFX, you're right. A lot is happening. Hey, Margot, Crazy Chick Sheena. Hi, DM.
Okay.
Dude, Lulu.
I think I'm back. My camera.
You got no camera.
Yeah, I see that. My dog has decided she wanted to get my attention, so she unplugged everything.
That happens.
I'm surprised I made it alive. All right, so where the hell was I before I was so rudely evacuated?
You were going, and then everything went black. I don't know what happened. Hold on, I got something for that.
Yeah, I have to get that worked out. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, you're so evil. Just so you know, folks, that was a sound machine. I do not hurt my pets. Full disclosure. Nope. My pets are the precious things to me. So, I could just see that one hitting a video. Oh my God, he did that on live TV. All right. So anyway, I want to continue on the same subject here because I only got about a minute left.
Okay, go ahead.
Is key stage for Tokyo Olympic decision. Japan's Olympic minister said it would theoretically be possible to delay this summer Tokyo Olympics to a later date in 2020 amid worries of the sniffles could cause the games to be canceled for the first time since World War II. Seiko Hashimoto told a parliamentary committee that the delay within the calendar year was possible under the terms under which Tokyo was awarded the games, but Japan was pressing ahead with the currently planned July 24th start. Hashimoto also said this. Sean got my dog distracting me. Sorry. They just said this. She understood from comments made by International Olympic Committee's members Dick Pond that the end of May would be a key stage for the decision. Senior IOC member Pond told the Associated Press in an interview that late May would be the latest a decision could be made, and organizers would be more likely to call the event off than delay it or move it elsewhere due to costs and logistics. I think the end of May is an important stage, Hashimoto said. We will make efforts so that the IOC can be convinced it can be staged safely. We are putting all our strength into that. So we are at risk of losing or delaying the 2020 election. Not election. See, I got the dog distracting me. I mean, I'm so confused.
2020 Olympics.
Denmark's closing, right. Denmark closes all schools and universities due to the sniffles, orders all public sector employees with non-critical jobs to be sent home from Friday. Roto-Rooters, the paper. So, interesting. All right, Pete, you got anything you want?
No. I think we covered a lot. We covered a lot. Just make sure everybody comes to our show tonight.
Absolutely.
That's going to be the Fact, Fiction, and Beyond show. And of course, there's going to be Nazis and popes and all kinds of stuff going on over there. So should be a fun show.
Gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be.
I hope everybody gets over there. Patriots channel, and it's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific time. So mark your calendars, mark your clocks, put a piece of duct tape on your clock on the right hour so that you don't miss it. Anyway, with that being said, I want to thank all of my mods for hanging out, doing your jobs, taking care of this channel. You guys rock the joint. And all of the folks that come out to hang out with us for an hour of your lives, appreciate you. Pete, as always, you rock, brother. Appreciate you. And
thank you.
Love doing these shows together. We make a good team.
Yes, we do.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. And y'all stay in the fight.